Good morning, students. Today we are going to start your first chapter of biology, that is life process. My name is Amar Singh Naruka and I am the PGT Biology in SR Public School. So, what is the content of this chapter? We are going through, first of all, that is what is the criteria which decide that someone or the something which is alive or dead. Now, the most important criteria to decide whether something is alive is movement. It means we can say the things which can move they on their own. We can say that is alive. Okay. Non-living things also can move, but they always move. They always move with the help of any other force, any outer force, any external force. But the living things always move here and there by their internal wish. Now, all living things move without the help of any external help. Earlier, I have said this thing also, and I have explained all the parts. Some movements are easily visible, like the movement of the body parts. Some movements are not easily visible, like molecular movement, because moleculars are very small in size, and we cannot see them by the naked eyes only. The molecular movement in cells and tissues is necessary for all life processes. You know that the molecules or the biomolecules and the movement in the cells, cytoplasm, and whatever the content is present in the cells, it is very essential to move here and there, because without that our machineries are not possible to complete in the human body. Not in human body, all living organisms. Now, you can see some animals here, like bird, some kind of fishes and molecules. These all, they can all move here and there. Birds and fish, they are alive, whereas atoms and molecules, they are non-living thing. Molecules can move by the external force, whereas the living body can move here and there by the internal wish. Now the next, what is the next content of this chapter? Life process. Whatever the content we have to go through from this chapter, that is shortly described here. Life processes are the basic processes in living organism which are necessary for maintaining their life. This is the very common definition of life process. Some basic processes of body, like nutrition, respiration, transportation and excretion. Actually, this chapter is a whole uh, or the aggregation of all these points. Nutrition. Nutrition, you know very well that it is a part of life. Without it, we cannot survive. It is the process of taking food by an organism, and its utilization by the body for life processes. Now the respiration. Nutrition, usually it is related with the food. You know very well that food has all essential nutrients for the body growth, and intake of food and utilize this food for body, that is the part of nutrition. So in the full description, we will study all the mechanism, all the digestion process, all the types of foods and all things whatever present in this part. Now the respiration. This is the method to convert food into the energy, and this energy is utilized by the living body for the various kind of process, for the movement, for the locomotion, for the metabolic reactions, for any kind of energies, all are essential. Now, it is the process by which food is burnt in the cells of the body. Burnt, that we are saying that this word we are using actually burnt, because in the presence of oxygen, the glucose or whatever the amount present as a food in the form of food in our body, that is converted into the chemical form of energy molecule. Usually it is known as ATP, adenosine triphosphate. It is an energy currency or energy molecule of body. Okay, in this form, energy is stored in our cells, especially in the mitochondria. That's why we can say mitochondria is the powerhouse of cell. Now, transportation. It is the process by which food, oxygen, water, waste product are carried from one part of the body to the other. It's a very common process. Transportation, that means we can relate it with blood circulation. Blood circulation, you know very well what is the function of blood circulation. Circulation of all the things, along with blood, all the metabolic hormones, enzymes, food, oxygen, waste material, excretory substance, all things are moving here and there by blood only. This complete procedure is called transportation. In this part, we will read or we will study that heart structure, blood, blood vessels and all. Now the excretion. Excretion, that means whatever the uh, excretory products and useless product and waste product produce inside the body after the metabolic processes, we have to remove time to time, because we cannot store in the body to these waste material for the longer time, because you know very well these are the poisonous substance, definitely harmful for the body. So it is a process by which waste product are removed from the body. Next, this is the digestive system and respiratory system. It is a whole we can say that that is indicating diagram, how the nutrition completed in the digestive system and how the respiration completed in our respiratory system. We all are having the different types of organs for the both kind of processes. For example, for the digestive system, it's a very unique diagram. You can see that a alimentary canal, it is commonly called food pipe. It starts from the mouth where we intake the food through this pore. It is a ventral aperture through which we intake any kind of food material. Okay, after the digestion, for the digestion, this food goes through the various kind of part like stomach, small intestine, large intestine, and finally it is stored into the rectum. And rectum is the last part of large intestine, and finally it to be egested out by the rectum pore, that is outer external pore, that is called anus. So this is complete a canal system, that is called alimentary canal, and this is digestive system of human body. It is a very common diagram of human digestive system. Whereas in respiratory apparatus, respiratory system, you know very well that the nostrils, these are the outer opening of nasal cavity through which we intake the gases in our lungs. Directly is it goes towards the lungs only through the trachea or the windpipe. This trachea or windpipe further divide into two parts, that is called bronchi, and each bronchi opens into the separate lungs. These lungs has the minute structural basic unit inside that, that is called alveoli. These are, we can say that, in another word, we can say alveoli is the basic functional and structural unit of lungs. So where we go through, whenever we will study very depthly in both kind of part like nutrition and respiration, we will read all the processes very thoroughly. So this is the very common introduction of both the system. Now this is the blood circulatory system and excretory system. Likewise, for example, digestive and respiratory, that's like that. Transportory system or the circulatory system and excretory system. You can see that there are the various type of blood vessels are linked or connected with the heart. Heart is a central situated organ through which lungs, body organ are connected via the large blood vessels and small blood vessels. There are the different kinds of name of all kind of blood vessels which are very important. That is, we will read or we will study further in the description. Now, that is the excretory system. Excretory system, what is saying that? In excretory system, you can see that there are two kidneys associated and they are directly linked with the ureter. Ureter is a urinary duct, we can say, which are connected with the kidney. Okay, these kidneys are also connected with the blood vessels, that is red and bluish in color. Okay, the reddish one is called aorta, whereas bluish one is called vena cava. These are the largest arteries, or we can say largest blood vessels of human body. So these are the very common diagram which is given in this slide, and we will study very all these processes very depthly in the description part, but this is only the introduction of this chapter. Now the nutrition. What is nutrition actually? Nutrition is the process of taking food by an organism and its utilization by the body to build the body, for growth, to repair the damaged parts of the body, and for energy. Life on earth depends on carbon based molecule, because we know very well, and we all know that food is made by carbon, everything is made by carbon, all the organic material made by carbon, and food is also an organic matter, and the most of the food are also carbon based molecule. All are, except water and minerals, all things contain carbon. The outside raw materials used by living organisms are food, water, air. Mode of nutrition. There are two main modes of nutrition. They are autotrophic nutrition and heterotrophic nutrition. In autotrophic nutrition, that is completed in the plant only, where they can synthesize food by the presence of sunlight and CO2 gas. In this nutrition, in which organisms prepare their own food by simple inorganic substance like CO2, water, in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is a kind of cell part which is present in the chloroplast, and this chloroplast are only present in the plant cell. It is lagging in the animal cell actually. Some animals like Euglena, even it is not a completely animal, it is not completely plant, it is a link between both. Example, all green plant and some bacteria. They can synthesize their food on, because some bacteria also contain chlorophyll, and these bacteria usually known as cyanobacteria. For example, cyanobacteria, Nostoc, Anabaena, Oscillatoria, these are the very common example of cyanobacteria. Now the heterotrophic nutrition. In this nutrition, in which organisms get their food directly or indirectly by the plants or from the plants. All animals, fungi, and some bacteria. We are animals and we are also heterotrophs. Fungi are saprophytes, because usually they are dependent on the dead material and decay material. And bacteria usually they perform all kind of nutrition: saprophytic, parasitic, symbiotic, all kind of whatever content are there in the heterotrophic nutrition. Now the heterotrophic nutrition is of, first of all, types of heterotrophic nutrition. There are three main type of heterotrophic nutrition: saprophytic, parasitic, and holozoic. That is another part also, that is symbiotic. In the 9th class we have studied that symbiotic nutrition, when two different kind of body, for example lichen, that is one contained made by algae, one contained made by fungus, they both are associated with each other and help to grow to each other, and provide the benefits to each other for the growth, for the lifespan. This kind of mutualism is known as symbiotic nutrition, which is seen in the lichen, mycorrhiza. Okay, now the types of heterotrophic nutrition, that is saprophytic, parasitic, holozoic. Symbiotic we have learned in the 9th class, that's why I'm not going through this again, but I have remind you again from this symbiotic nutrition, and I have told you that example also like mycorrhiza and lichen. Now the saprophytic nutrition, it is a nutrition in which organisms get their food from the dead decaying matter. They can break down the food material outside their body and then absorb. Usually in holozoic nutrition we intake the food whole inside the body, and after that we digest the food and absorb the nutrients by the parts, by the various kind of parts which are present in our alimentary canal. But In saprophytic nutrition, digestion takes place outside the body of a living organism, of fungus, and whatever the substance which perform and whatever the living organism perform this saprophytic nutrition, usually they break down this food outside the body like mushroom, bread mold, commonly called as rhizopus. Rhizopus is the biological term of bread mold, yeast, and some bacteria. Now, parasitic nutrition. It is a nutrition in which organisms get their food from living organisms host without killing them. It means in parasitic nutrition, usually the the animal body is dependent on the other body and usually use it to intake nutritions and absorb the nutrition without killing them, like Cuscuta plant, like orchid, ticks, lice, leeches, roundworm, tapeworm, plasmodium. They all are parasite of human and other plants also, but they get nutrition without killing them. This kind of nutrition is called parasitic nutrition. In holozoic nutrition, organism intake the whole food. Suppose we are having one apple in our hand, so we can take this whole apple one by the biting or the chewing method, but we completely intake by the mouth only, and after that we will digest in our stomach and then absorb the food, and this kind of the food is called holozoic nutrition. Okay, this is takes place in the amoeba, paramecium, all kind of unicellular organism, birds, fishes, humans, even we are also. There are the 5 steps of holozoic nutrition. Ingestion, that means first of all intake of food, then digestion, that is digestion takes place inside the stomach and small intestine, then absorption, whatever the food digested in our body that is absorbed by the intestine, small intestine and large intestine, then assimilation. After absorption the nutrients, these nutrients assimilated, it means mixed with the blood and goes towards the various kind of cells wherever the food is required, that is called assimilation. And whatever the useless part are present in our food, that is stored in the rectum, and finally that is ejected out, that is called egestion. So this is this complete procedure or the holozoic nutrition contain 5 steps: ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation, and finally egestion. So in today class we have completed all these contained, and I hope you all enjoy this chapter, and from tomorrow we will start the other parts of this chapter. Till today that is enough. Have a nice day to all my dear students.